How does one small comment turn into a full-blown argument so fast? 1 minute, everything feels normal, and the next, something shifts, a tone changes, a look gets misread, and suddenly you're in the middle of a conversation that feels way bigger than it should, and you're left sitting there thinking, how does it happen so fast? I swear, sometimes we go from Netflix and chill to Survivor Marriage Edition in less than 5 seconds flat. Or maybe there's this quiet exhaustion that started to settle in because no matter how much effort you put in, the pattern just keeps repeating. And if that's where you are, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not the problem, and your relationship is not beyond hope. What you might actually be experiencing is a relationship that's stuck in survival mode. And when a relationship is in survival mode, everything feels harder. Communication, connection, even just being around each other. But here's the good news. There is a way out of that cycle. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what's really going on beneath the surface and how couples begin to move from constant reactivity into something that finally feels stable, safe, and connected again. So, what does it actually look like when a relationship is in survival mode? For me, I didn't recognize it at first. I just knew I was tired, not just physically, but emotionally drained in a way I couldn't quite explain. I was so tired, my coffee needed a coffee. I remember there were things I used to love doing, things that normally gave me life, and I just didn't have the energy for them anymore. And it wasn't because I didn't care. It was because so much of my energy was being used just trying to keep things okay at home. I can still think of moments where something small would happen, a comment, a tone, a shift, and it would take everything out of me. And suddenly, I didn't have the capacity for anything else. My social calendar, it started looking like a list of excuses. Sorry, can't make it. My energy and I are having a trial separation. And one of the hardest parts was realizing how small my world had become. People would ask me about my future, my 1-year plan, 10-year plan, and I couldn't even go there. I wasn't thinking about next year. I was trying to get through tomorrow, trying to keep things steady, trying to avoid another moment that felt like too much. And I didn't have language for it back then, you guys. And looking back now, I can see it so clearly. It wasn't just stress. It was survival mode. When your relationship feels unpredictable, when tension is always just under the surface, your body adapts. It starts conserving energy. It starts scanning for what might go wrong. And without even realizing it, your life starts to shrink around that. It's not that you're weak. And it's not that you're failing. It's just that your nervous system is trying to be helpful. Kind of like your phone autocorrect. Except instead of fixing typos, it just cancels all your plans and sets every conversation to warning may explode at any time. So, how do you actually move out of this? How do you go from a relationship that feels like it's constantly reacting to one that feels stable, safe, and steady? This is where we all secretly wish there was a magical relationship remote. Just press mute, rewind, or my personal favorite, skip intro to conflict. But what I really want is to be honest with you. You cannot create stability in your relationship if your nervous systems don't feel safe. If your nervous systems are on edge, it's like trying to build a treehouse during a windstorm. Sure, you can try, but odds are you'll just end up with splinters and a new fear of heights. So the shift doesn't start with fixing the conversation. It starts with learning how to slow things down. And there are 3 shifts that begin to change everything. The first is learning how to regulate before you try to resolve. Because when your body is activated, when your heart is racing, when your thoughts are spinning, you are not in a place where connection is possible. In that moment, your only job is to calm your system. And that might look like taking a pause, stepping away for a few minutes, breathing, grounding, letting your body settle. Because if your body feels unsafe, no conversation will feel safe. The second shift is learning to recognize the pattern you get pulled into together. Every couple has their pattern. Ours is like a dance routine, except nobody knows the choreography and at least one partner is trying to leave the dance floor. Maybe things escalate quickly, or maybe everything gets avoided. But the goal isn't to win the argument. It's to notice the cycle while it's happening and then interrupt it. Sometimes the bravest thing you can say is, wait, are we rerunning last week's episode of Who Forgot to Take Out the Trash? Let's change the channel. That one moment of awareness can change the entire direction. And the third shift is building safety in small, consistent moments, not in one breakthrough conversation, but in the everyday interactions. Your tone, your response, how you come back after things feel off, because safety isn't built all at once. It's built in the small moments where your partner starts to feel, I'm okay here. And I want you to hear this part. This isn't about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it differently. One pause, one slowed down moment, one choice to respond instead of react. That's how couples begin to move out of survival mode into something that feels stable. Now, as soon as you start hearing this idea of slowing things down, of pausing, stepping away, giving space, you might find yourself thinking, wait, isn't that just avoiding? How do I know if this is healthy or if we're just disconnecting again? And this is such an important distinction to understand. There is a difference between privacy and emotional withdrawal. And if you don't know the difference, it can feel really confusing, especially if you've already experienced distance in your relationship. So let's make this easy as pie, but with fewer crumbs and less chance of a fork-related disagreement. You guys, privacy is intentional. Privacy is like pressing pause on Netflix. Sure, the show stops for a bit, but you're coming back. Nobody's just turning off the TV and leaving the house without warning. There's a sense of awareness in it, a sense of responsibility. It sounds like, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need a few minutes, but I'm going to come back and we'll talk. There's still connection in that. Even in this space, there's safety. But emotional withdrawal feels very different. It's not intentional. It's protective. It's shutting down, avoiding, disconnecting without any clarity about it or when and if you'll ever come back. And on the receiving end, it can feel like abandonment, like you've been left alone in the middle of something that really mattered. So the difference isn't just what is happening, it's how it's happening, whether connection is still being maintained. Think about it like this. Privacy is the relationship equivalent of BRB, be right back. Withdrawal, however, is GTG, gone to the grocery store and never returning. We've all had those texts, right? And when you're trying to move out of survival mode, this distinction matters because slowing down isn't about creating more distance. It's about creating space that actually makes connection possible again. So, if your inner voice right now is whispering, wait, is she secretly filming my living room? You're in good company. And there's no hidden cameras, I promise. But if you're still trying to figure out what pattern you're actually stuck in or why this keeps repeating the way it does, I have a quiz. I don't want you to just self-diagnose on Google because that just leads to panic about rare conditions. I've made it easier for you. I created a free quiz that helps you identify whether your relationship is operating in survival mode and, more importantly, the specific pattern that you're caught in right now. Because once you can put language to what's happening, everything starts to make a little bit more sense. You stop second guessing yourself, you stop feeling like it's all on you to fix, and you can finally start responding in a way that actually creates change. So if you're ready to get clarity, take that first step out of survival mode. You can take the free quiz in the link below. It's quick, it's simple, and it will give you insight into what's going on beneath the surface. You don't have to play emotional detective anymore. Let's put those magnifying glasses down and pick up some real answers, starting with you.